Welcome back to the Antiques Challenge. Today we're seeing whether this contestant has got something worthwhile from their relics and old antiques. Introduce yourself and tell me what you've got with you today.
Alright, my name's Noreen. I've got this MP3 player. I just wondered, roughly how much it'd be worth and stuff.
Well, an MP3 player by itself doesn't seem particular. Well. Actually, this is quite exciting. I was going to write it off as just a general MP3 player, but it's stocked to the brim with episodes of Queer and Pleasant Strangers. I'll offer you £50,000 for it.
Sold.
Sorted.
We'll be downloading copies of those. Ah.
Yay!
Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Dale.
And I'm not Jane Aerith Magnet. And welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers, that podcast where a couple of queer trans ladies talk about our weeks, do some silly voices, do some skits, have a bit of a laugh. How you doing this week?
I'm gassy. I ate too much curry yesterday and I've been farty all day.
I've been a bit farty all day today. I've been very sleepy today as well. I've had a very long week.
Lots of spinach. Oh, you didn't have any spinach.
What's
your excuse?
I don't know. The curry probably. I've had a long old week, and I'm just about alive today. I was very sleepy.
Oh no!
I need more sleep because I did not get any at the weekend.
Stayed up all night with your awesome nerds.
Indeed. Should we talk about that, or should we wait until?
Let's talk about that. Tell me about that. Although we'll talk about panels and other things you've seen.
We'll talk about some of the specifics. I went to AmeCon, which is an anime convention at Warwick University, or University of Warwick. I went with my nerd friends. They are absolutely lovely people. I enjoy being nerds with, and I did not get much sleep. It was a lot of being drunk and partying and dancing the night away. Making new friends, and it was a good weekend. I did not get nearly enough sleep. I was very, very sleepy. Very sleepy. I slept for about 9 hours last night. I'm like, I need more though. More. I'm gonna have a nap after this, and I'm gonna need that because I'm recording way into the night tonight. I need sleep. But yeah, AmeCon was really lovely. Yes. We'll mention it later, but I got a chance to meet Zaldera, who has sent us questions before. I found out that jelly tots are vegan. That was a thing I found out at AmeCon.
I still want to know what they use as gelling agent. And why other people can't use that as well.
Yeah, vegan gummy stuff, we've talked about this before. It's just never got the right consistency. But jelly tots do. And they don't have gelatin, and we can't work out how they make them gel.
How do?
Tell this secret to all the people who make vegan gummies.
Yeah.
So, with that out of the way, shall we talk about what we've played?
Yeah. What have you played? Tell us.
Well, I played a game in front of an audience at AmeCon. I played How Sexily Can You Eat the Long Long Man?
Long man!
So for anyone who's unaware, go on YouTube, long man commercial or advert. It's a series of adverts that I won't ruin
beautifully.
I won't ruin how they end. The ending is beautiful and it completely flips the whole thing on its head. But it's a series of adverts about, on its face, a series of basically some gummy sweets that come in short varieties and long varieties. And the titular lady of the adverts, she very much likes the long man with his long gummies, and is a little bit obsessed with them. And
her other half is feeling a bit inadequate with
his short boys.
Short boys. Oh yes, they're short boys. Are they? So hang on. Are they gummy or are they taffy like Mao-Am?
They're definitely not. They're more sort of like, kind of the foam layer of like a. If you have like a Haribo gummy heart and they've got that foam layer.
Okay.
It's kind of almost like, it's halfway between like a gelatin sweet and a foam sweet in texture, and it's very heavily flavoured.
Because from the look of them, I assumed it would be like a Mao-Am.
No, it's fluffier than a Mao-Am. It's more foamy than a Mao-Am.
Oh, yeah.
It's It's an odd texture. I've really enjoyed it. I don't know if they're vegan. I need to find that out, because if so, I would get one, because I think you dig the texture.
You think I dig sliding along man down my throat?
Oh, yeah. So I went to a panel at AmeCon that was run by a company called Tofu Cute that do a lot of...
I enjoy tofu.
Yeah, they do very cute things and also Japanese sweets, imports and things. I believe they've got a UK-based branch in Portsmouth or Plymouth or somewhere.
It's a bit of a way to go, but yeah.
Indeed, but one of the things they did is they asked for some volunteers, and I got pulled up on stage to sexily eat the long, long man
And I
in
bet
front
you
of
did
a
it fantastically.
cheering crowd. I did my best job of just sexing up that long, long man. So yeah, that was the thing I did. What have you played this week?
Well, I had a go at some PlayStation VR.
You had a very brief go this evening, didn't you?
That was interesting.
You
I liked the menus, they were pretty.
You're having more of a go, I think, the day after we record this. We're probably going to do some.
Wednesday I'll probably do some more of that. I need to clean the lenses firstly, because I don't know how you can see through that. I'm sitting there going, this is very fuzzy. This is all very fuzzy and out of focus.
Well, I found that, for some reason, lifting them slightly higher up my head made them get into focus. Like, where they naturally felt like they should sit was out of focus. And I lifted them slightly further up my head and they focused.
Oh, yeah.
I
mean, it didn't help that they are really, really smeary at the moment.
Yes. I set them up today, and, like, you were getting home as I was setting it up, and I sort of threw it on your head without much planning, and was like, a luge.
Or tying back of hair.
Yes. Getting a luge down a road.
So we did, what was that, PlayStation VR World?
Yes, PlayStation VR Worlds, which is just a sort of compilation of demos. You watched the sort of room where all the demos were around you, and like, ooh, pretty.
The menu was fun, I enjoyed poking them all.
Yes. So sort of poking the menu balls.
I pokeballed.
Yeah.
I did not catch anything.
This was your first experience with VR.
It was. I'd never even tried a virtuality headset, like, from back in the 90s. So.
Yeah. How did you find just being in that demo room, that big sort of Colosseum room?
It was... it's really interesting. Initially I thought it was a little bit weird, because, like, there's... not actually, going back before that, you had the menu for volume loaded.
Oh, yes.
And it was weird, because it's a small-ish room, but bigger than the room that we had it in. It was similarly lighted. So again, like, it was a weird transition to go from I am sitting in our bedroom on the end of our bed to I am now sitting in an empty office building with some servers behind me.
About the same size.
And I can hear you speaking, but you are not physically where I am looking at you, and the floor is at about the right height for where I'm sitting. And I felt like a weird disconnect with everything.
It's weirdly easier when the room is completely different to where you are. Like, when you're in that giant Colosseum, it's easier to suspend
the giant Colosseum really wasn't a problem. And then maybe it was the fact that at that point I already had the thing on my head and I sort of, sat through while you loaded the new thing.
The one I was going to suggest for you to maybe try tomorrow, that's similarly like a very big space, like much bigger than the actual space you'll be in, is one where you're sort of in a diving cage and you're being lowered into the water, and it's basically just like, hey, look at all the fish, and we're gonna try and investigate a sunken ship and things. And
no plastic bags floating by.
No plastic bags floating by. You see lots of nice fish and things, and it's a very good one for getting your brain used to, oh, I'm in this ludicrously large space that I'm not actually in. But yeah, VR's weird, isn't it?
I've found the luge thing a little bit
motion sicky?
I don't know if I would describe it as motion sicky, but I had a weird sense of movement with it. It
takes a little practice to get used to, because your brain kind of freaks out at, like, it looks like I'm moving, but I'm not feeling myself move. What is this nonsense?
What do? And I've already got really messed up in inner ears anyway, so... Like, I'm probably going to struggle with that a bit anyway. But interested to play more. Looking forward to Resident Evil 7.
The ones I think you'd get on well with your inner ear stuff is there's a lot of games where you're either in a stationary position, so things like being in the cockpit of a flight ship, or being in a chair or things like that, where you sort of do things from there.
Yeah.
Or the ones where, in order to move around an environment, you sort of point and teleport.
Yeah.
That, because you sort of hop from place to place, it doesn't confuse your brain so much with movement.
Okay.
So I've got some that I think would work well for you, but we sort of just jumped in and were like, well, I'll try a thing.
I'd be interested to try something like a roller coaster or something.
I can 100% set you up with a VR roller coaster to try.
Because it's the one they always do with, like, 3D glasses and things. And you can usually always spot a 3D film because it will have the roller coaster scene.
Yeah.
We're going to show off the 3D!
Well, I can
still shit.
I can give you a roller coaster to try. It'll confuse your brain.
Will I be able to see the Poke-Cola from the roller coaster?
You can try. Yeah, I messed around a little bit this afternoon with PSVR while setting it up.
Played some Volume.
I played. We played a minute or so of Volume. Volume in VR. It's kind of like a board game board floating in front of you or something.
Sort of like a weird. Like a miniature.
It was weird to try and see from a flat 2D image what you were looking at. It was very confusing. I played a bit of the London Heist, which is one of the things in PlayStation VR worlds, where you sort of have to go steal a diamond and, oh no, you're getting tangled up with the mob. I really like that one. It's a lot of fun. I think you would enjoy it. And we've got the one with the mouse, Moss, the little mouse that does sign language, which will be...
I watched Ellen Rose playing that on the Outside Extra channel, and that looked really sweet.
Yeah, it's adorable. It's like a platformer that you are in the world, but you're not the character. Like, the character is existing in this little play box with you.
You are a giant looking down upon the world, helping a tiny mouse friend.
Yeah, so we've got some fun stuff to mess around with, and I'm sure next week's Played is probably going to be like, we played lots of 3D. We played lots of VR. Yeah. Did you play anything else?
I've been playing a buttock ton of Pool Panic.
Oh, yes. How is that going?
There's a lot to it. I spent most of probably an evening or so just sat down playing Pool Panic, and I've got maybe halfway through the main campaign, but I've then gone sort of to the as you go through, you raise this tower in the centre up more. And it's good that you don't seem to have 100% at each level to get that. You just have to have done the level.
This is the pool game where the pool balls have legs and arms and faces. Yep. And it's weird and silly.
Mm-hmm. And some of the the orange ones are sneaky little shitbags, and they will sort of just slide out of the way. They'll do a little electric slide to one side. Just as you're about to hit them, and then you'll have the green ones that look sort of like goalies. So if you pot a ball towards them, they'll try and rescue it from the pot. You've got, I think it's angry blue balls. And they'll sort of, if they're in sort of stress mode, when you hit them, rather than knocking them, they will just leap up in the air and then smash back down. Ooh. Knocking any balls, including yourself, further backwards. Then there's sort of some fun little sort of slightly story-ish bits to it. You walk through a forest area, and there's some logging going on, and you can sort of, it's some of the levels will involve making trees fall down so that you can disconnect the balls that had been trying to save the trees that had chained themselves to it. So you just rotate them round and round and round the tree until the tree falls over, and you can disconnect them and pop them in the pockets.
Oh, that sounds mean.
I know, it's not very me at all. It's not environmentally conscious at all, but the fact that sort of the worlds that you're in will interact with that, and there's a farmy bit, and there's one level where you've got looks like some kind of cat thing, or Tasmanian devil, that sort of runs around in the long corn, and you have to do a line across the corn to make sort of some of it sort of fall down, and you sort of narrow down less and less and less of the corn until eventually it all falls down, and you can try and pop the ball that. But yeah, it's really good fun. I think it starts off with something like 106 levels, and you slowly sort of find them and unlock more, and that causes this tower in the middle to unlock, which unlocks bonus levels.
Ah.
I've just unlocked a bit. I think it's like the third or fourth sort of bonus bit up that tower, and it seems to have an almost Super Mario World style like alternate version. But it's like hard mode, so you'll be doing the same levels, but they will be considerably freaking harder. So potentially you can do over 200 levels at that point if you count them as new levels.
Oh wow!
There's a lot of content. It's quite fun. It's very charming.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little bit frustrating. There's been a couple where I've been like, you did 78 attempts at potting all the balls of a par of like 6 or 7. There's also a mini golf section in it, which is quite weird. But it does feel a little bit mini golfy in some ways as well. So, but yeah, it's lots of good fun.
Nice.
What about you?
I got to play a couple of demos for things at a press event, so I'm going to talk about like 3 demos pretty quickly back to back. There's one called Strange Brigade, which is like 1920s English, like, see here, the British chaps are off to go do the thing. Sort of, very Left 4 Dead-ish co-op shooter. It's a lot of British people from the 1920s in basically Africa going and shooting all the African zombies. That
sounds problematic as fuck.
I've not seen enough of the story to know if that's the case. One of the people in the team is an African woman. I have not had a chance to play it in co-op either. I only got to play it in single player. It feels like a very polished, like, basically Left 4 Dead clone. The humour generally seemed amusing, but it's like, I am just watching out for, like, is this going to make fun of the idea of turn-of-the-century British colonialists? Or is it going to portray them as
evil colonialists?
Yeah, I don't know what stance it's going to take. So, like, mechanically it's good. The more you shoot people, you fill up a gauge. You can do, like, a super move, which is quite cool. You can upgrade your guns with, like, gems that make it do things like, I recover some health when I headshot someone and things like that. It seemed interesting. I didn't get to see a great amount of it. Another one I didn't get to see a great amount of was a game called The Occupation. It is a sort of stealth game where you're trying to break into an office to get, like, evidence. Basically, the government have been doing something bad to the people, and you're a female journalist that's like, I'm going to break in and get proof of this and tell the world that, like, the government's fucking them over.
This is a story about you going out of games journalism into sort of more
traditional journalism.
Traditional journalism.
I could see the look on your face looking for a word.
What is the word?
I could see you trying not to say real journalism.
No, I wouldn't. I wasn't not trying to say real journalism. I was like, I don't know what the word is, but it's non-games journalism.
Yes, journalism of a more real world variety. But yeah, it was it was an interesting enough little game that it had things like every time you were physically interacting with stuff, you had to, like, let's say you wanted to open a door, you'd have to hold down the interact button and then move the analog stick to, like, pull the door open or push it.
Yeah.
So it had a nice
sort of Resident Evil, the newer Resident Evils have that sort of, you can slam the door open or just sort of push it.
Yes, it didn't mechanically make any difference, but it just gave kind of a nice momentum to moving.
Yeah.
Things like leaning around corners felt really nice. You could, if you were crouching and you went near to a table that was slightly lower than your crouch, it would automatically crouch the little bit lower so you could get onto the table. Mechanically, it's really nice. And visually, it's quite polished. But the problem is, I couldn't get through this demo. I tried this demo 4 times through, and every single time I encountered a different, like, game-ending, progression-halting bug.
Oh, that's not ready for display yet. I suppose visually, maybe?
So, I'll go through what sort of things were happening. The first time I played it, I had to punch in buttons on a keypad, and the place where I had to have, like, the pointer pointed to select a number was miles away from the actual keypad itself. It was like not lining up with the numbers on the keypad the first time round, which made it very hard, if not impossible, to put the numbers in properly. Then I fell through a floor the next time I did it and ended up in an impossible to escape behind the bounds area.
Really?
I kind of skipped reading a bit. Like, the third time through, I'd already done this keypad thing before. I knew the code for it, so I put the code in. And then as I was going down later, I was like, oh, I'll just read the piece of paper that had the code number on. And it locked the game, because I'd read the code after inputting the code, and it was like, no, that's not the order. You read this, then you put it in, and the game locked up. It was all problems like this.
So you were playtesting for them, essentially?
Basically, and this is a press event for a game that is like 2 months away from launch, and I'm like...
Well, I mean, I'm not sure those are...
When your demo is like 20 minutes max, and I made 4 attempts at it and couldn't get more than 10 minutes in each time.
Well, I wish them luck, certainly, with getting it fixed.
It's an interesting looking game. Like, things that I found really interesting about it. One of the things very early on is you steal someone else's keycard to start getting into this facility. And while there were no moral choices to make here, there was an interesting internal dialogue from the main character about, like, hey, I'm breaking in using this person's keycard. If I get out of here successfully, they're probably going to take the fall for me. And I have no idea who this person is. Maybe they deserve to get in trouble, maybe they don't. Like, is it morally right for, like, I'm trying to do the best thing for the country, but an individual might take the blame for my crime? Well,
if they're working for the fascist overlords in the first place.
Well, it was a security guard or something. Like, they may have no idea. They're just like, I'm just working a security job. They might have no idea what the government's doing that's bad.
Yeah.
It was an interesting thing that was posed. It was like, I like what this game's trying to ask. I'm just concerned about the state it's in right now. And the last one I played very quickly was I got to play some Overcooked 2.
Ooh. I hear you can throw food across the room to each other now.
Yeah, so you've played the first Overcooked, haven't you? No, okay. So for anyone who's not done it, Overcooked is a co-op multiplayer cooking game where basically orders come in at the top of the screen and you have to run around this like frantic, cramped kitchen trying to get the ingredients, put them in the places, make the orders and get them out.
And sometimes the kitchen changes shape.
Indeed. There's not really enough space to do anything, and you're frantically running around trying to do it all while silly things happen.
Sometimes bits of the kitchen will be suddenly blocked off to you, so you can't get around. But now that the fact that you can throw ingredients at each other, I imagine that makes them... potentially a bit easier, or potentially just a chance to make more
chaotic,
mess.
Yes. So, yes, the main difference with Overcooked 2, there's a lot of new kitchens in which to try and cook things. You can now throw plates of food, which is great if you land it and get it there. You can maybe take some shortcuts, but if you miss, you might break things or drop things. I played quite a fun level where you were on, like, 3 moving, like, hot air balloons.
Oh.
And, like, one half of the hot air balloons had some of the ingredients and some of the cooking materials, and the other balloon had the other bits of preparation and the other ingredients, and we were trying to, like, run around and, like, throw bits of meal from hot air balloon to hot air balloon, and there's a third hot air balloon, like, floating back and forth between the two that you can put cleaned plates or finished meals on and, like, ferry them back and forth. But, like, that moves very slowly. So it was a lot of, like, time management and chaotically trying to go, like, well, what do you need? Okay, I'll do that. That's right, whatever.
Lots of open communication lines.
A lot of...
shouting at each other.
It's a lot of shouting at each other and not paying enough attention to each other, and everything goes wrong and you get a very low score, but it was a lot of fun along the way.
Yeah.
It's a silly little game. I want to pick it up. It seems a lot of fun.
Do it.
It seems in a good state. I'm excited to pick that up next month. What about you? Have you played anything else?
Yeah, I have been playing a little bit of the Lion Song. To be fair, it was a bit late in the day for me. I think this might have actually been last Tuesday after recording Quirps.
Oh.
You'd gone for your nap. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was just before you went away to AmeCon. You had gone up to bed early for Slep, and I lay on the couch playing Lion Song and fell asleep several times.
I've not started it yet, but as I understand, it's a series of like small point-and-click story things.
Well, what I've encountered so far isn't even a point-and-click. It's just an interactive book, really.
Okay.
Everything I've encountered so far has been entirely sort of like, there's barely any choices, maybe some little dialogue points, and at the end of it it'll be like, hey, you did this, but 78% of people didn't do that. Ooh. And I did... basically you start off as a musician. They've been charged to go and create a new piece of music. They're having some sort of whatever the orchestral equivalent of writer's block is, possibly still writer's block. And you're sort of sent away to the mountains, and your publicist or agent or whatever has decided in their infinite and pushy wisdom that although they know that you're suffering with writer's block, they're going to put on a concert at the end of the week and you're going to present this new thing. And there's going to be loads of very well-to-do, important...
So just putting a lot of pressure on you.
Huge amount of pressure.
Best thing to do when you've got writer's block.
Yeah, so, and I can't remember, I think it's slightly pre-World War II?
Yeah, early 20th century Austria, apparently.
Yeah, and you get a phone call randomly from somebody who's just, like, randomly dialed a number. And, with only 4 digits. and they're like, oh, I'm too nervous to call this family member, and you can, if you want to, you can randomly start telling this stranger on the phone about your life. And me being me, you know, I'm just like, no, I don't know you. I'm not telling you about me. Get off the thing. And then, like, the phone can ring again later on. But as you can have conversations, and that will sort of promote more like, hey, I had a thought about something related to the music, because there's a few points where you're like, this is a distraction. Shall I go and sort it out? So you go and sort the thing out. And then you'll like read all of the books in the bookcase over the course of the week, and they'll be like, hey, this reminds me that sometimes the music should go up, and then sometimes it should go back down again, and slowly getting little hints of melody and hints of sort of bass lines and things.
It sounds quite sweet.
I've only played the first chapter, and I don't really know where it's going. The graphics are okay. They're a weird sort of almost EGA dithered colour thing.
Yeah,
like,
I'm looking at that.
16-bit.
Yeah. It's an interesting...
It's very brown.
It's very brown. Many shades
brown,
of
red,
brown.
and yellow. A lot of that.
So looking at this descriptive thing they gave us about the game, they do describe them as point-and-click stories, but apparently that's selling it a bit much.
Well, maybe as you get on through chapters, but I've only done the first chapter, so...
So yeah, all the 4 different stories in it are all about different artists and scientists that are all having the innate struggle of genius and blah blah blah. I'm gonna give it a look at some point. Occasionally, like, I like narrative things. I'm not too fussed about the lack of gameplay. Actually, if you like the music, we have the soundtrack on CD.
Nice.
So I'm excited to hear this music after I've played the game. I don't want to ruin it for myself. Yeah, you played anything else?
No, I think that's it. I've not really had a lot of chance. What about you?
Not much else for me, because I've, been away.
You've been away?
At the convention.
So then. Inside the boardroom of Electronic Actisoft.
Hello.
Hi. So, we're, you might know that we're looking to acquire another studio so that we can become Electronic Actisoftworks.
Yeah. So, talk me through this plan. How are we hoping that this acquisition will help? Are you is the plan that by acquiring new studios we can release more games and better games because we got more staff and
God no.
Thank God not.
Not at all. So basically, we don't like the competition, and we feel that if people are enjoying good games, any kind of a single-player experience, any of that, they're really being separated from what is core to our business, these online services that we sell. People aren't going to buy our loot boxes if they're really enjoying some indie piece of shit that's absolutely fantastic, lauded by all of these reviewers and the games journalists, games with high Metacritic scores, we're releasing buggy pieces of crap and no one's going to want to play those if some indie developers come along. So I suggest we just keep buying anyone who makes any kind of vaguely good game. We'll keep them in-house for a little while, we'll break their wills so they'll never want to make another video game ever again, and then we'll just completely dissolve the studio, making them all poor and homeless, and I think that's just perfect for our business model.
My God, you're a genius.
I know.
Thank you. Let's get into this right away. Go, go, go. Buy Alt Studios. Have you heard about our new wonder product that just fixes absolutely everything you've got going on?
I haven't. Please help me.
So, our new product, what does it do? What doesn't it do? It leaves you feeling refreshed. It allows you to pass time in the blink of an eye.
Wow!
It's comfortable. It's a great way to function during the day accurately.
Yay!
It's sleep.
How do I get sleep?
You lie down in bed and hope that your brain lets you.
Warning, sometimes sleep may not work. You may not actually be able to get sleep. You may not be able to get to sleep at all. You may be suffering from insomnia. People who suffer from insomnia will not be able to get sleep. People who suffer from
So why not try sleep today? It'll cure all that ails you. Well, what have you watched this week?
Watched? What have I watched? What have I watched? I'll tell you what I've watched as soon as I find a page where I wrote down what I watched.
I can tell you a thing we watched. We watched some more Full Metal Alchemist.
We did. We've been watching a lot of that recently.
We've been watching a lot of Brotherhood. We're sort of powering through it.
Mm.
How are you feeling about it at the moment?
I'm still enjoying it, and I think we've got now definitely to stuff that I don't remember from the original series.
Yeah, so. We're currently in a very snowy place that definitely didn't come up in the original show.
Yeah, we haven't seen the White Walkers yet, though.
We did have one thing that came up the other day where there was a character that had been brought up very early in Brotherhood and then not been relevant for a long time and then popped up again.
Mm-hmm.
Where it was like, you had a bit of a, the fuck is that?
Yeah.
It didn't do a great job of keeping that character in mind as an important person.
No, not at all.
Like, you sort of piece together, like, oh, that's who that is.
Like, oh, that person. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
But
generally, like, it's definitely, like, it's getting to the point where it's, like, it's branching its narrative quite a lot.
That it be.
That very big character that showed up in the last episode we watched, don't think ever showed up in the original.
No, I don't think so. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Well, what else you watched?
I've been watching more of those Twin Peaks theory videos. I watched the pilot episode of Final Space, which you mentioned last week.
Oh, how'd you find that?
It was it gives some big spoilers for the
Yeah, don't watch it before the main series.
No.
Or watch it and then wait 3 years to watch the main series like I did, because then you forget the thing that happened in the pilot.
From the same creator, though, I watched The Lion's Blaze,
Yeah?
which is about some people who are seemingly literally inside a video game.
Okay.
And a sort of fantasy game, and the way they interact with the NPCs is quite funny. At one point, the shop is literally on fire. The whole town's being attacked by a dragon. And the shopkeeper's like, I have these potions here. The guy's like, you're literally on fire.
Having gone back and watched that Final Space pilot, it did give me a good sense of like, oh, I see why this got picked up. Like, it did a good job of selling the idea of that show.
Yeah.
I think.
And having watched a lot more stuff on that channel now, like, that guy is really, like, a good storyteller.
He's very
good. He
good.
does, like, over-the-top drama very well.
He's very good at mixing drama and comedy together, and he's very good at getting you engrossed in the way he talks about his worlds.
Yes. You
kind of just want to follow him along and, like, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm interested.
Oh, definitely.
He's a good creative person.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing more of Island Roger stuff, and hope that we have no milkshake duck.
Let's hope not.
I did have a Google around today. I couldn't find anything, so hopefully that's the case. Did you watch anything else?
Oh, I watched some things. At at AmeCon, I watched a panel that was a group called the Adventure Bastards, who you can find recordings of their panels on YouTube.
Oh.
This was a sort of tabletop role-playing group set who are 4 female players with their male DM who do a series of adventures in 1920s America, but it's all very what's eldritch? It's all sort of eldritch monsters that they have to go and deal with. Very
Slightly Lovecraftian.
Lovecraftian, that's the word I'm looking for. It's a very Lovecraftian, eldritch horror of the week adventure series.
Hopefully less racist.
Yes, definitely less racist.
Yay.
But it was about an hour and a half long, this panel. And they've got recordings of all their panels up on YouTube. They don't update terribly regularly. Apparently it's every couple of months they'll do one. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. These 4 women were on a mission to steal a pocket watch from a fancy owner of a big fancy house. At one point, one of the players tried to convince this 1920s big house owner that she was his time-travelling daughter, which was an interesting attempt at trying to solve a problem.
Yeah.
I won't spoil the eldritch horror that came up, but it was quite fun.
Cool.
I can recommend the Adventure Bastards. They were quite fun.
I might have to give that a look.
Yeah, I need to go back and see some more of their things. There's clearly, some existing backstory, but it's easy enough that you can jump into the newest one and go, I can understand roughly what's going on and pick it up as I go. So I had no trouble jumping into just a random episode that they did at a show, and it was a lot of fun. What about you?
Well, I basically sat on Alan Rogers' YouTube channel just to see what was in there. I watched another short cartoon called Rob and Detective Boy.
Okay.
That is about a boy who builds or repairs a robot, and they have adventures, and then something happens, and the boy grows up and is old and sad, and because robot friend died, saving the city at least, if not the town, if not the world, and yeah.
That sounds really powerful and sombre.
It is. Much like Final Space, it's quite sad in places, but again, this big action stuff. And just another quite quick one off that was Pop Rocket, which is a live action, but it's got proper, really good special effects in it. So I'm guessing somebody in that team is a damn good visual effects artist. Because there's sort of laser guns and flying ships and things, lots of explosions, and lots of very sort of dramatic conversations about things that are sometimes a little bit silly. But yeah, that was quite a weird little one.
I think I need to go down the rabbit hole of that YouTube channel.
Worth a look. Definitely worth a look. What about you? Were you at any others?
I saw some more panels because I went to a convention. There's a lot of panels there. There was a fan fiction panel. I don't know what the actual name of the woman who ran it was, because it was listed as being run by Miss Dementia Raven, the person who did My Immortal, that notoriously terrible fan fiction.
Oh!
The one about
Evanescence? No.
No, the goth vampire, the
fan fiction.
Yes, the fan fiction. So she's sort of, the person running the panel was cosplaying as the writer of that fan fiction, reading that fan fiction out in a good dramatic manner. She then went and read a bunch of very silly fan fictions that she'd found online. She ended the panel with one of her own terribly bad fan fictions she'd written age 17. It was beautiful. My favourite takeaways from that panel were the fan fiction about Hagrid having sex with Dobby that was called Your Eyes Are Bigger Than Uranus, which was
terrifying.
That was a thing, and the Superman fan fiction that talked about coming faster than a speeding bullet.
Well, that answers that age-old question.
Yeah! It was an amusing panel. It had a good mix of audience participation and silliness, and it was a lot of fun. What about you?
That's all me done. It's all you now. Only you can save us.
I think that's about all I've seen, really.
The proles are getting restless.
You wouldn't give rights to a shovel.
dangerous ideas are starting to spread around. And that's how socialism and communism start to rear their heads.
You wouldn't pay a living wage to a cog.
Obscenely wealthy people are at risk of making slightly less money. If you suspect grassroots people-powered movements of taking off in your industry, call the Federation for the Abolition of Socialists and Communists in Society today. That's 0345 327 2478. That's 0345 Fascist.
You wouldn't unionise a car.
Oi, you can't cosplay that character. You're black and that character's supposed to be white. I've read all the mangas and I know.
Hello, it's the cosplay police here.
Arrest them! Their skin's the wrong colour to be playing that character.
No, I think you've got this confused. I'm actually here for you.
But my cosplay is 100% accurate. 100% accurate. I made absolutely sure.
Yes, it is, but also, you're a bit of an arsehole. Cosplay is here for people to have fun, and you're clearly just shitting on people who are having a lot of fun doing things the way they want to do them. So, off to cosplay jail with you. I'm terribly sorry. So, what have you listened to?
Well, I've been having a sort of a light week for listening, really. Light week for everything. It's been busy. I started listening to a listened to a podcast because somebody tagged us on Twitter called "The Sis Are Getting Out of Hand."
We got mentioned on that.
We got
thing.
mentioned. We got mentioned.
They did one of our voices
they
and acknowledged.
Stole our voices.
They acknowledged us as the origin of the Sherry Lady voice.
Which is not actually true, because although we do the Sherry Lady
I'm
voice...
sure it came from somewhere.
well, I used to work, and someone mentioned that it was... it sounded remarkably like Hinge and Bracket, which was... what was it, 1960s, 70s, sort of British variety?
I won't pretend that we originated the voice.
No.
This sort of brought it back into the popular culture of the moment.
I think we certainly have done. It's almost Hyacinth Bouquet.
I think we're the only people that currently does it on such a regular basis.
I would admit also, I could be wrong. Thank you. I've listened to about five episodes of that so far. It was good. But it's lots of trans people talking about trans stuff and the cis being out of hand. And sometimes the cis being good. Yeah.
Occasionally.
Very rarely. So if you fancy a bit of sort of trans-led podcast, that's always nice. Trans and non-binary people. What about you?
So a lot of what I listened to this week was my friend Ellie put together a playlist of music on Spotify for all of us that were going to the convention called the Ultimate Convention Playlist. And I'm just going to rattle off a couple of songs from here because it's a very interesting playlist. So there was some very memey songs on there, such as Show Me Your Genitals, a song that is sung in the character of a stereotypically man singing about how women are only useful for their genitals, and it's kind of funny in that it clearly isn't meant to be taken seriously. I think at one point there's the line, "Women are only good for 3 things: cooking, cleaning, and vaginas." And ultimately this protagonist, indeed, ultimately the song is very much, you're meant to see this guy as a stupid, ignorant, misogynist arsehole.
See, I didn't realise it was supposed to be a joke. I just took it as yet another person who thinks...
No, it's very much the things he says by the end, it's okay, you're clearly an idiot fucking arsehole, man. And
yes, that's exactly how I took it.
Indeed.
Rather than a parody of an arsehole.
Yes.
Is All Star on there?
I think it is. Let's have a look. We've got Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins, which is just a proper good bop. We had some songs from anime. We had You Only Live Once from Yuri on Ice. Genghis Khan by Mike Snow, but Mike has 2 eyes. You might have seen the video for this was quite well known for a while. It's like a James Bond-esque... The villain's trying to hit him with lasers and he's trying to escape. And in the end, James Bond and the villain end up making out. It's a very cute video to this very catchy song. I'll throw another one out. Girls Like Girls, which we've mentioned before, by Hayley Kiyoko, which is just a really good heckin' gay, lesbian-y, fucking... Girls are nice, aren't they? Heck.
They are.
Song. What about you? You got any other listens?
Yeah, in the last 2 weekends I've been down to Brighton to go and see a friend who I helped move out on Sunday morning.
This is the one we saw the other week.
They were playing a mix. Like, I think we played it 3 times last weekend, at least once this weekend. There's a track on there called I Remember. It's by Deadmau 5 or Dead Mouse and Cascade. Quite nice, quite upbeat. A bit of trance, if you fancy a bit of trance.
It's a good track, that one.
Yeah. Nice.
I'll throw another couple from the convention playlist. Fighting Dreamers, which was one of the early Naruto opening tracks, because we're all trash that liked Naruto. The Caramel Dancing, because you've got to have that on an anime convention playlist. It's a terrible, terrible track. Are you unaware of the Caramel Dancing?
Yes.
Okay, about a decade ago, it was like very popular with like 15-year-olds going to conventions.
See, a decade ago I wasn't 15.
It was very like
Or
it's
even
very
close.
poppy and upbeat, and the video is just like a bunch of like computerized anime girls doing like a weird flappy hand dance. A certain era of anime fan will be very, very aware of it, and it's now sort of, we were listening to it mainly to laugh at like, oh gosh, us.
No.
I'll Make a Man Out of You from Mulan,
Yeah.
which is just a good thing to sing along to. Nickelback Photograph, because we're Mimi trash.
Look at this graph.
Look at this graph. We had You're Welcome from Moana. That's a good track. What about you? You got any other tracks?
Max NRG. All one word. MAXNRG. Hide Away Your Heart. It's the lyrics aren't like super positive, but it's got a really nice dirty bass, some really nice beats. Yeah, it's really good. I like it, even if you might sort of think this is not a terribly healthy relationship you're describing here. But I hope that they sorted things out with some stompy
and even
drum
if
and
not,
bass.
good dirty bass.
Damn good tune. Apparently, like the lyrics are taken from another song called "Stay," which I'm not aware of.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We had Bye 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 by NSYNC, which is just good and to bounce to. It's also good if you've got bisexuals in your friend group who are like, hee, bye, bye, bye. We had Kenny Loggins' Footloose. Which
Of course.
Again, good for a good stomp. Everybody, Backstreet's Back.
Everybody.
Yeah. Holla Back Girl by Gwen Stefani. It's got a surprisingly good beat to it for such a terrible song.
Is that just 2 women screaming at each other? Well, I will holler back.
Witch Doctor by Cartoons. Ting Tang Bada Bing Bang. We had The Time Warp. 5, 6, 7, 8 by Steps.
5, 6,
7, 8, my room to pay. Yeah. Yeah. What have you got? Anything else when you listened?
That's me done.
Okay, I'll throw out a couple more. We had some Lonely Island, Mother Lover, and Dick in a Box. Both quite fun to sing along to. We had the fucking Crazy Frog on our playlist because Darude Sandstorm,
which came up during this week's absolutely exceptional Dice Funk, I might add.
Yes, it did.
I'm very glad things went well.
It also got played during one of the nights out we went to at AmeCon, one of the dance nights. It came on at just the right moment that I was ready for a dance, and that came on.
It's a good one to stomp to, but you very rarely hear it played out.
Yes, it's we had All Star Smash Mouth. We had last one I'm going to mention. We had the Kazoo Kid Trap remix. Have I shown you the Kazoo Kid?
I don't believe so.
It's an 80s video about a kid that just wants to be your friend and teach you to play kazoo, and it's just really heartwarming and a bit silly. And someone made it into a song, and it's quite heartwarming.
Mm-hmm.
After I show you the Kazoo Kid, this kid from the 80s, he's on Twitter now, And he just tells people that he's like, yes, you're still my very special friend. And it's a really heartwarming Twitter account. So, yeah. It was just a bunch of, like, anime stuff and terrible, terrible things. We had pen, pineapple, apple pen, stuff like that. It was an interesting weekend. I think that gives a decent enough overview of what I listened to. Actually, one more. It's coming up. It's coming up. It's coming up. It's there. It's a song by the Gorillas that we sang a lot of this weekend.
Hey, hey, hey.
Yeah, is that everything we've listened to
I think
then?
that's everything we listened to, Ringo.
Right, well, how about this?
Doodly doo doo.
That music's too exciting. Let's turn that down. Hello, and welcome to Grey Peter. It's Grey Peter because blue was too exciting.
This week on Grey Peter, we won't be making anything, but we might think about other people making things, as long as that doesn't get us too excited.
Today, we did have planned a guest from the firework factory to teach us about fireworks. However, we thought that was a little too exciting, so instead, we have a politician with us today. Hello, politician.
Hello, I'm here to talk about the very important red tape.
Yes, could we replace that with grey tape, please? Red is a little exciting for our audience.
But we've always called it red tape, and I'm a Tory, we don't do change, you know.
No. Okay, our guest is going to have... Our guest is going to have to leave now because they were a little too exciting. Now, remember, if you have a boring story, send it to us, and you might win a Grey Peter badge. It's kind of just a magnet. There's a bit of a grey circle.
We do enjoy grey circles,
Yeah.
but not too much.
Not too many.
We wouldn't want to get terribly excited.
No. If you seem too eager to get one, we're not going to send you one. Until next time, this has been Grey Peter.
Slow down, slow down.
Oh, sorry. Hello.
Yeah. So what are we discussing today?
So, we run the movie board, and
Yes.
we recently came into acquisition of a bunch of sort of children's properties from a couple of decades ago, and I'm thinking that, you know, we've recently seen a lot of success with gritty adult reboots, so I think we take these children's properties and we make them into gritty adult reboots, because then the kids that remember them, who've now grown up to adults,
Sure.
they'll still appeal to them, because they're adults now. So, where do we start? My first suggestion, the Clangers, you know, those little moon creatures? Yeah, no, so they're not about friendship or anything anymore. They're trying to overtake Earth. I'm picturing them, you know, it's not like, yay, the Clangers, it's the Clangers. It's a horror space franchise.
Oh, I like this idea. So they'll have, like, particle energy weapons and things like that, and they'll just, like, be shooting at all the people and... Take that, motherfucker!
Exactly. That could be the sound of the guns, is the clanger noise.
That's awesome. So it's like a slide whistle gun. I like the sound of that. What else?
We got the magic roundabout. We have the license to that. And I'm thinking, it's a magic roundabout. A lot of people, they're going to be tempted to use it. It's magic. You want to get your spells. It's kind of like one of those Devil's Wish things where you use the magic roundabout trying to get your wish.
And the monkey paw thing.
Yeah, monkey paw things.
Yeah.
It's going to twist your wish into some kind of evil, horrible, twisted version. It's a horror franchise.
Excellent.
All
Like
about...
Zebedee could just be flying down from the air and just beheading people, things like that.
Exactly.
Nice.
It's about the evils of greed, and if you want to just like magic something into existence, you know that's a bad thing, and you're going to get punished for your greed. You got any ideas?
Yeah, Fireman Sam, gritty reboot. He's got post-traumatic stress disorder. He was involved in a really nasty backdraft, and he's really struggling. But it's about getting him back into the fire service in the small town that he's in, and probably something something about that weird Italian woman, and maybe they're in some sort of huge gritty love triangle.
I've got a twist for you. For you. So, on top of all this, Fireman Sam, he's actually started setting fires himself. He's got a little too addicted to the thrill of being the hero and, the thrill he gets from saving people.
That's
so he started setting fires himself so that he could put them out. He gets caught out eventually. He's too good at fighting these fires. He shows up earlier than he's supposed to, and they cotton on, and it ends up being his downfall. I think we got some good stuff to work with here. Are you ready for us to move our studio in this direction?
Absolutely. I'll be sending suitcases of money over to the studio later today. I think we should definitely get moving on some of these. Particularly interested in perhaps one of those slide whistle guns. If we could have those R&D'd in.
I'll see what we can do. Before we go, I am going to see if we can turn the Tweenies into some kind of gangster movie. Right, let's get on it.
Questions, time for questions.
Questions?
Yes.
What ones we got?
Dyspraxidori44 would like to know, if Jane and Laura were to fuse Steven Universe style, what colour hair would the fusion be?
I think we'd just get, a bluish green, because green is already yellow and blue, and I've got blue hair, so we'd just kind of go darker green, I think.
I quite like the idea that we'd have green roots and blue or turquoise ends.
Ooh, I'm into that. I can go with that.
Or maybe, entirely blue with, a green, almost, Bride of Frankenstein stripe down it.
I can go for either of those options. Yeah. What other questions we got?
Becky Toothill would like to know thoughts on why people keep up with the notion of adding those obsolete little pocket watch pockets on every pair of jeans made in our lifetime.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, it's a conspiracy by Big Pocket Watch. They're, funneling money to jean manufacturers. But, I think it's not a very well organised conspiracy, because they're spending all the money on pocket watch bribes rather than actually producing pocket watches to sell to people who have the pockets to store them in.
It's a condom pocket.
It is, in fact, a condom
pocket.
It's a
condom pocket.
You shouldn't keep them in your wallet, because bad things can happen.
Yeah, condom pocket.
Condom pocket, fasten the human eye. Zaldera would like to know how was your AmeCon, and it was very nice meeting you briefly on the first day.
It was very nice to meet Zaldera as well. It was very nice to meet them. They were a little behind me in the queue, and then we found each other. It was lovely to say hi. Yeah, my AmeCon was really good. I spent 4 days very drunk, being very silly with me friends. Had a good dance, stayed out very late.
Randomly complimenting nice people.
Yeah, I was in the kind of night out mood where I just wanted to go up to people and go, "Your outfit's really nice. Oh, you're really cute. Oh, did you have that accessory on the other day? Oh, it's really nice." And I made some friends doing that.
And you wore some awesome cosplays. You look great as Diva.
Oh, my Diva was good. I did a Lapis for a bit. I did Futaba from Persona 5.
I very much like the Lapis dress. You look good in the Lapis dress.
I really enjoyed my wigs this weekend, and my selfie game was on point.
Your wig game was on point? Selfie game was on point?
very good about my pictures and my selfies this week.
You were maximum cute, I must be honest.
It was basically just 4 days getting very day drunk and having a silly laugh at, sex fan fiction and anime
boobs.
Anime boobs. Yeah, there was a point where we went and saw a panel and just cheered every time we saw boobs. It was great.
I imagine that probably makes it slightly less awkward to have a room full of people watching porn. If everyone's cheering randomly.
If everyone's cheering randomly when we see boobs, we're all clapping as it's
spanking.
There we go. There they go. There's a person with a sock puppet of what was it?
Something the one-eyed wank sock.
It was Krusty the one-eyed wank sock that was throwing out sweets to the audience when we cheered for boobs. It was. There was a woman in her pyjamas running the panel that drank half a bottle of whiskey straight while running the panel. It was
sweet Christmas.
It was a great time.
Goodness. Daniel Gallagher would like to know, why does it still seem like Cartoon Network wants to kill off Steven Universe?
Because the wrong people are buying the toys.
I don't know. I don't think they are. Because I don't think they would have given them the movie if they were trying to kill it off. But I do feel like the movie might be the end of things. And I'm kind of okay with that.
Here's the thing, like, I still feel that they're not fully behind it because, like, if you look at every other show that network does, they do proper season runs. And Steven Universe still can't get a proper release schedule, and I'm like, something is going on with that show. Like,
It's too gay!
I think it is just a case of they are worried about the backlash if it is actually cancelled, but they do not want to put the proper resources behind it to fund it properly. And it's just stuck in this weird limbo. And they're like, we have to finish it, but we don't want to put the money into finishing it.
I think whatever happens with the movie and stuff, I think as long as they finish the story that's certainly been built up over the last couple of seasons.
If we finish,
I think as long as we get that,
if we get,
I'll be happy with it.
Well, the thing is we're definitely powering towards there. Like, now that, okay, it's been a few weeks. Skip a forward
Spoilers
30
ahead.
seconds if you don't want to hear this. But now that we have seen all the diamonds, we're getting to a point where this show can reach its end game.
Yeah.
And, like, I think the diamond story is the end game that we basically need to deal with. Is like, hey, sort out Homeworld so that they don't keep doing what they've been doing.
Yeah. And I hope whatever else happens, like the Steven Universe team are still employed, and I hope Rebecca Sugar does more gay as fuck stuff.
Guaranteed, when Steven Universe ends, Rebecca Sugar is gonna get snapped up. Like, she's gonna have no problem finding, like, her next gig.
Are they using she/her anymore? Because I know they came out as non-binary recently.
Oh yes, you are correct. They did recently come out as non-binary. So
I don't know
believe
if there was any mention of pronouns. But...
I'm not sure, but to be safe, I will use they, them. So yes. I don't think that they will have any trouble getting snapped up. Yeah.
It's good. Right. Lucy Evans would like to know, if you were a professional wrestler, what would your finisher be called?
The butt bounce. I bounce them out with my butt, so I hit them out the ring. I butt bounce them. What about you?
I think mine would be the look TM.
Is it bad that I already know what this look is? Mm-hmm.
I would just glare at them in a slightly menacing and domly fashion until they just submitted and left the ring and accepted that I was ultimately victorious.
So you'd give the look, and within seconds they'd just be like, "Okay, you win."
I give up the game.
I'm sorry, I try to fight you.
Here, have the title. I'll go up the ladder and hand it to you. It belongs to you. You are the best. Yeah. That's my answer. Paul Evans would like to know, what is your favourite hidden gaming gem?
I had an answer for this. I've completely forgotten. Do you have an answer for this?
I don't know if you'd call it hidden, but I'm a massive fan of We Love Katamari, and I know that wasn't super popular.
Yeah.
I would like to play more Katamari games, but I don't know if we have a system that plays them. I think the last one came out on the 360, and I've checked the compatibility list, and I think it's Beautiful Katamari. It isn't on the Xbox One compatibility list.
Is there a PC one?
The closest the PC has ever got to it was a game called Wonderful End of the World.
Oh, yes, I played that.
Which is...
not as good.
It's not as good. It's much more short, and it's not rolling
we could
up.
probably get a PS2 one. Are there PS2 Katamari games?
There was We Love Katamari, and I believe Katamari Down the Sea, but I think that only came out in Japan.
We could probably get a working Katamari game, because we got a PS2.
Do we? Well, I recently sold my PS2 with it because I just wanted to get rid of my PS2. It was storing up space.
The tech box near our TV downstairs, there's a PS2 in it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, I've played through We Love Katamari so many times. What I really want is just like a new Katamari game.
In terms of like a recent one, Battle Chef Brigade. Everyone sleeps on that game. It's amazing. Battle Chef Brigade is like game of the year for me for last year.
I've popped into the eShop several times with the intent of buying it, and every time I look at the images and go, You know what? I'm just not being sold on this.
I've got it on my Switch.
No, you
just
do.
just boot up one of the other accounts on my Switch and play it.
Right, I'll try that.
Give it a go.
Jason Lee would like to know if epic rap battles of history were to come back, what figures would you want to see battle, and who would you like to portray them?
Oh, what a tough question. Do you have an answer, perhaps, for this?
I thought about this long enough. I would like to see Isaac Watts versus Eleanor Fenn.
Okay.
Isaac Watts wrote hymns and a book about logic called Logic. He was influenced by the empiricists and yet was somehow devoutly religious and wrote over 750 hymns. And Eleanor Fenn, who I mentioned a couple of weeks ago, where I got one of my middle names from, who was a children's author, focusing on sort of toys and games, and emphasised conversation with children and advocated for children-centred learning.
Heck.
I would like to see them played by a boy in a band and Ellen Rose.
Oh, see, I've not worked out who I would want to play them, but I kind of want to see an epic rap battle of history between the current Pope and Laura Jane Grace. I just think it would be amusing to be like the most overly like strictly religious person possible against just like
Punk.
Trans punk. I am everything you hate.
Yeah.
And I don't know who I would want to play them, but that's my answer. What questions we got?
Ostergal would like to know, given a time machine with 5 uses, how well do you think you do at manipulating time to your own ends?
I didn't know we only had 5 uses. You didn't mention that when you prepped me on the question. Do you want to answer first, because you've had time on this?
I would attempt to gain funds, build a solid foundation for a socialist society or anarcho-communism, and distribute so much that the super wealthy become completely irrelevant, destroy capitalism, and hopefully have a Star Trek-style utopian future. But in the 90s. As opposed to the 23rd century? We're going to get messages about that. That's the wrong century for Star Trek. I'm sorry.
So yeah, we were talking about this downstairs. The suggestion of just go back and invest in Microsoft and Apple. Just get a nice nest egg going.
Just get like enough money that I can slowly redistribute all the wealth until money means nothing.
Oh, goodness. I think like it would be I'd be very hard pressed not to use it to just get journalistic scoops. Just like wait a couple of years, find out what the next big thing in gaming is, and just like be there to leak it at just the right moment to be like, aha, I am the genius.
Nice.
Just like manipulate my way up to the top of the career ladder.
Go and do the interviews before you've already done them.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully you'll have some sort of paradoxical cushioning on your time machine that'll stop that causing an issue.
Indeed.
Kia Anderson would like to know, would you rather hug Mooncake from Final Space or Lion from Steven Universe?
I had an answer for this.
You do?
I think that Lion would be a more cuddly hug if Lion was interested in the hug. And as we know from Steven Universe, even with Steven, Lion
is a cat.
Yeah, Lion's a cat. Not super reliable in like, yeah, I'll cuddle you. Whereas I think Mooncake would be like totally up for hugs.
Yeah.
And like
he's also very defensive, so
yeah. And as someone that just like loves to hug a good like balloon every now and then, I think Mooncake would be a good like hug a balloon size and consistency.
And I kind of wonder if perhaps you could learn to speak Mooncake's language.
Yeah.
Because it is an adorable little whereas Lion seems to be more like or just sort of sleepy noises.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go Mooncake.
Okay. That's a good one. I think I will too go Mooncake. For those reasons. Jason Lee, what's your favourite example of a person whose material you you liked and they successfully changed their tone completely?
So my answer for this is My Chemical Romance. I think that from the Black Parade album to Danger Days, they completely changed their sound and their style, and I very much enjoyed them before and after that stylistic change. What about you?
I genuinely don't have an answer to this because I can't think of anyone that's changed for the better.
Actually, I have another answer for this. Panic at the Disco, I think, have genuinely changed style for the better. I think that their current music is better than the things that got me into that band. So yeah, got any other questions?
Number one monster kisser would like to know, what is your ideal hamburger encounter?
I don't know how to answer this question because I don't know quite what it's asking. You have an answer for this, and then I'll answer in a minute.
Well, my ideal hamburger encounter, I guess I would be just a bit over-leveled, and then I could kill it really easily, and hopefully I'd get some good loot that I could either use myself, or if it's not vegan, maybe trade it in town to one of the merchants for a couple of GP.
I'm gonna talk about my best time I had eating a burger that it was in the past. Of a time I went and ate a burger, and the burger was great, but so was the experience of going. There is a really good burger place in Bournemouth. I believe it's called Seven Bone, where it's got sort of a slightly speakeasy, slightly punky aesthetic inside. It feels like the kind of place that you'd expect someone with tattoos and a leather jacket with piercings to show up to. It's got really good sense of music and just really nice ambience, and their burgers are absolutely delicious. They have a really good buttermilk chicken barbecue hash brown burger in a sort of brioche bun that was best burger I've ever had. They also have alcoholic milkshakes, which are very good. They do a what's it called? Snickers in a twist, where it's a sort of chocolate, peanut, caramel, and whiskey milkshake. It's really good.
No.
So yeah, that was my favourite past hamburger encounter.
I think
it wasn't a hamburger; it was a chicken burger. But
well, there we go. See, neither of us particularly like the hammered burger.
I did have a good hammered burger at the weekend. It was good. It had some spicy coating on it. It had some barbecue sauce and some chili, and there was those onion rings that have the diced onion in them, as opposed to the whole ring of onion in the burger. It was a good burger.
I like an onion ring. I like both types of onion ring, but sometimes when you have the whole ring of onion in the thing, you'll bite into it and you'll be left with a handful of batter and a bit of onion dangling greasily down your face.
Type.
I like them. They have their time and place, but they're not.
I very much prefer the diced ones.
That's good.
Any more questions?
That's all of them. But I think if I'm going to just answer generally actual burgers, the Iceland Noble burger.
Oh, those are good.
In a bagel.
Yeah.
With 4 onion rings maybe, and some mozzarella cheese.
That is
grated and then covered in sweet chili sauce.
That Noble burger is by far my favourite vegan burger that we've had.
It is a bit weird how it bleeds, but yeah.
It is a very, very good vegan burger. Highly recommended.
And sometimes they're only £1 for 2.
Heck.
That's it. That's all we got.
That's all we got?
So we do the outro now. Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Hello, Larry. How's it going?
It's going all right, Barry. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not totally happy with that intro, but we'll see how it goes.
It's all right. We'll fix it in post. So, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. My partner's been away for a couple of months. She's doing some aid work over in somewhere. She's away doing some aid work
overseas.
My partner's been away for a while doing a bit of aid work. Helping build wells and schools and affordable housing for people. And I've not really had any physical contact with anyone for a while. Because. It's just not a thing that men really do.
Oh, it's all right. You're right. I found out there's actually a really good solution to this. I was talking to some other friends the other day. You know what's really good for that? Normalised platonic friend hugs.
I mean, that'd probably do the trick.
Should we give it a go? Give it a go. Let's give it a go.
Yeah.
It's pretty alright, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
It's it's uncommon, isn't it?
Yeah. So like, here's the thing. What I was being told is apparently, if you just like have a hug with someone for like 20 seconds or so, it gets your brain release a bunch of chemicals, feel really good. Like
the oxytocin, the bonding chemical.
It's your brain chemicals what make you feel good.
Yeah.
Like hugs are proper good, and like it's not normalised to do it with friends, but like it's proper good to just give your friend a hug.
Yeah.
Have a proper hug between friends. Doesn't have to be romantic or nothing.
Exactly.
You can just go. Hugs feel good. They release good brain chemicals.
Yeah.
We're good friends. Let's do this good thing for each other. Let's boost each other's mood.
Well, like I've noticed that women hug each other quite a lot. So I have to wonder what is it that men have decided that that's not a thing that we should be doing.
Well, I think honestly, it all comes down to homophobia, doesn't it? It's a fear of hugs being seen as romantic and not wanting to be seen as homosexual. It's homophobic fear, really, and the sort of way it's drilled in here.
Yeah.
Fear of being seen as soft and whatnot, but, this is the problem, is you get the sort of like half-second man friend hug, you sort of do the pat on the back, but you've got to give it a proper few seconds of contact, or it's not going to do nothing.
He's got to hit double digits at least to really make it worth anything. Although, I'm aware of situations where in sort of countries across the world where it is more of a cultural thing that men do hug. Yeah. So I wonder if it isn't sort of just a sort of Western toxic masculinity type thing.
I reckon probably a good part of it is that.
Yeah,
but
well, it's a terrible shame because I think touch is very important. It can mean the difference between a degree of depression. You can really lift someone up with a good hug.
Well, I was living alone for a while, and it really did dampen my mood to not have that sort of contact in my life.
Yeah.
Before that, I was in a relationship, wasn't getting a great deal of contact, really did, took my mood down.
Yeah.
Start having proper contact with people, whether it's with friends or with partners, it really does make a difference.
Well, maybe we should make this a thing. We will hug as a greeting. Perhaps we can normalise it and spread that, to some of our other, male friends or even female friends who are concerned about, platonic issues.
Exactly. And even if this was in some kind of audio medium where people were listening in and wouldn't be able to see it, I think from now on, those people would have to know we're starting every one of our conversations with a proper good hug.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. That was a good hug. Just had another good hug. That's it. I'm off, but go on, one more hug before we go. One more hug. Yeah.
Well,
it's proper good, isn't it?
It really is. I definitely feel a lot better after this.
Yeah. Oh, see you later.
Yeah, see you later, Larry. Have a good one.
See ya.
Is this bit where you talk or do I talk? I can't remember who does this bit.
Where can we find you during the week?
Oh, Neil, you can find me at Laura K. Buzz pretty much everywhere. Laura K. Buzz on Twitter, Laura K. Buzz on YouTube, Laura K. Buzz on Twitch occasionally, Laura K. Buzz. You can also find me at kotaku.co.uk Monday to Friday 9 to 5. You can find me on Dice Funk, the D&D podcast. I'm on seasons 3 and season 4. Season 3, I turn up about 8 episodes in. I very highly recommend season 3. I'm very proud of it. Season 4 is coming up towards its end, so if you start listening now, you'll probably sort of be toward the end just as we get there. Yes, what about you?
I can be found on stonemonkeyradio.blog, Jane Aerith Magnet on SoundCloud. I'm twitch.tv/Janiac, where I recently played some 2 Point Hospital. So if you want to see that before it comes out, it's all been uploaded to my YouTube channel. I can also be found on YouTube as Maniac Janiac and Twitter as Maniac Janiac, and that's all the places that I am. So,
until next time, be a stranger.